Hey, it's Jen Hart, Jen Hart Be Awesome, and today is day 13 of my 15-minute methods to change your life. Today we're talking about something that, sorry for the shaky, today we're talking about changing the lack mindset. Now, it's a little bit challenging to do just for 15 minutes, but I'm always about chunking things down to a reasonable size so it feels less overwhelming. If you can do more, that's the point of everything. Like if you can do more good work, more good things for yourself, do more happy things, etc., etc. So today is talking about how, I don't know if it's paradoxical. I don't know what the correct word would be, but all these 12 days you've been working on yourself, trying to refocus on what makes you happy, what makes you think, what you're feeling, and how that can help you change your life. And today's topic I got from a book many moons ago when I was depressed. And I read a book on this young woman then. I don't know how old she is now, but she might not be as young as she was in the book, but she had MS, and a shaman had told her, or a metaphysical teacher or something like that taught her that even when you think you have nothing to give, when you're feeling less than, to give to others. Now, this is a little bit different because I know a lot of the people that I talk to in terms of clients, and also maybe you guys who may be overgivers. So this isn't necessarily for like giving to people that have always taken from you, or given to people that don't actually reciprocate in some way. This is for charitable giving. Like if you see something on the ground, like say garbage or whatever, this is when you would just pick it up. Or sweeping a neighbor who might be sick, or a neighbor who might be elderly, and doing something for them out of the blue of the kindness of your heart. Now, this does two things. This takes you out of the mindset that you have nothing to give, because even if you have zero money and zero energy, because they usually say if you want to get more energy besides eating right, and you would exercise. And it seems paradoxical that you would exert energy to get energy. And that usually means you have to give what you don't have, or you think you don't have, because it's to trick your brain and to trick your heart, really, and your mind, that you have nothing to give. And that's not true. Now, you should give a lot of that to yourself first. This is the whole game of, like, if you're mean to yourself, it's really not easy to be nice to other people, because it's conflicting brains. If you're nasty to yourself and you're judgmental to yourself, does it mean you're always judgmental to the world? No, but you have a higher percentage that you're an asshole or you're a bitch, or just somebody that just like gossips and talks about people. And this might not be true for you. So I'm just using these as examples. So if you tend to not judge others, but you judge yourself harshly, this is something you have to give to yourself. So it's a part of that spiritual practice that a lot of people tend to overgive in the wrong areas, or they give with the idea that they're going to be rewarded with something, when giving should always be based on overflow and the idea that you're not getting anything back. That's the point of giving. And this exercise today is to prove to you that you really don't have lack. Now, even if you had only a dime to your name, and for someone that has had zero money, I've been homeless, I've had real hard financial struggles, is that every time that I thought I didn't have something to give, and then I gave it to somebody who was really like, and I wouldn't necessarily say in a worse position, because we don't know what people's position are. If you're doing something nice for somebody else, you don't know if that's for their benefit, but really the intention behind it is to get yourself out of a lack mentality and a lack state of energy. And it doesn't mean, like, if you are extremely stressed or extremely emotionally, what would be the word? If you're emotionally bankrupt, or I'd still kind of use this, but, with kid gloves, I wouldn't, like I said, 15-minute segment only. Like, if you know somebody that needs, say, this is an interesting example. If you know somebody that is depressed, and they trust you and you have a relationship with them, to just go talk to them about anything, to help them know that they are not alone in the world, to help them know that somebody cares about them. To just even shoot the shit. Like, it doesn't have to be, we're going to talk about depression or whatever your friend may or may not be feeling. You don't know what they're feeling if they're not explaining it to you. But at the very least, you're thinking about them, which makes them feel less alone in the world. That's the whole point about all of these things, is that when you feel less alone in the world, number one, you tend to do more things for people anyway. If not, then I don't even know why you would be in this sphere. But it's not to overgive either, because it's all about a yin and yang balance about life. Too much of anything isn't good, and too much of good or bad, we all need the balance so we can have perspective. Because if it's too good, you don't always remember the people that don't have it as good as you. You don't understand that there are people living a different lifestyle than you. And if it's too bad, it's the same. You may vilify those that are having it good. So it really is finding balance. And the whole purpose of realizing that if you're sourced from within, or say your higher power, I like to use a higher power. You could use the word God, or I like the word source. It just has a lot less baggage, so to speak. But whatever word that you use to help that you or you are unlimitedly, infinitely supplied, which means that there's enough love, there's enough finances, there's enough abundance in the world. And depending on where you are in your journey, it may feel very hard to feel that way. But when you give, and truly give with an open heart without any expectation from receiving, you get so much in return. And there's that balance to knowing yourself, to know when you shouldn't give, because knowing when you shouldn't give from an empty cup, which means if you're a mom and you need to go pee and you haven't gone peed, but you have to feed your kids, it's okay to go pee and your kids wait. There's no harm in that. No one's going to die. Most likely, it's not there are situations, obviously, medically, that you would need to eat at a certain specific time, but those are rare, and we're not talking about those things. We're talking about generalities here, and hopefully you can break down these sort of things for yourself. So taking care of yourself is a priority. Like they say, put on the mask so you can put it on your kid after you've put it on, because that's how it works. And it's not just for kids. It's like if you are a caretaker and you're taking care of somebody that you love in your family, taking care of you is so important. It's so beyond important. So that's why I talk about this as being a balance. But today's 15 minutes, as I get long-winded here, is to realize that you're not in any lack. So if you're lacking in love, how can you show love to a neighbor or a friend or a stranger? And I'm not saying make out with your neighbor, friend, or stranger unless you have that sort of relationship. We're talking about what can you give of your heart or your mind or your service. It doesn't have to be big. It's 15 minutes to realize that you have at least 15 minutes to give to somebody that needs it. Because you don't ever really know the impact you have on somebody until somebody tells you. And then you're like, whoa, I'm so grateful that they shared that with me. Like a thank you. Like I had a wonderful thank you. Like a very beautiful thing that happened today to me. And just a smile is giving something to somebody. Now, in the book that I'm referenced, that I can't remember off the top of my head, because it has been quite, at least since 2010, 2011, when I read that book. Wow, that's 10 years. Is that looking through your clothes. There's a cat. Meow. Don't give your cats away, by the way. Okay, so looking through your clothes, getting rid of clothes, and giving it to people that need it. Or you always, whether you know it or not, and the whole point of this book was to teach this woman who had MS, and it was a very challenging condition that got worse during stress. And for her, she felt incapacitated, not just for work. She was, I think, a marketer or graphic designer or something, I don't remember. And this is like a true to life story. So when she started to give freely with no expectation, just giving from the kindness of her heart and mind, and whatever physical things or financial things, if she could. And it wasn't like, this is where the idea of tithing came in, I believe. It's not necessarily, God doesn't need your money. Like, God is an infinite sourced creator energy. Money is just a tool. It's not even a thing for God. But the idea of tithing something that you have to something, whatever percentage, is because it's to prove that you have the faith that more is coming, that you are not in lack. It's literally a metaphysical tool to help you get out of lack. And if it's not money we're talking about here, we're talking about if you want to feel more love inside yourself, giving to somebody else, paying a compliment to other people, it doesn't take that much energy to in 15 minutes or an hour or every week doing something good for somebody else. And it doesn't have to be grandiose, and it doesn't have to be a literal charity. It just means I'm giving from a selfless place. And if you do that too much, like I said, it can backfire. And selfless actually means I'm not giving to get anything, which is funny because you always get something anyway, which is the paradox. And that's the wonderful thing about the universe, is because we're full of paradox things. So I hope you take day 13 and do something simple or grandiose for somebody else that really, honestly, I think it's always best to do it in a inconspicuous manner, or what do we call it, anonymous, because then you know you're not getting it with an ego like, oh, I did that, like not with an ego thing. But if you can't do that it doesn't dissuade it. It's just another way. Like if you, like, say for example, giving a waitress an extra 20% or 50% or 100% tip, that's still giving. Like, that's one way of giving. Or giving things you don't want or need, or it doesn't have to be monetary. It just has to be from your heart. And there's thousands of ways to give. All right, I'm done on my giving tangent. Tomorrow we're going to back to you, even though you're going to get something from this anyway. I don't understand. You always get, when you give, you actually get, I don't know, 3 times as much at least. You can always make the intention as well. Like, every time I give, I get tenfold back. That's an intention that you can set and it can manifest. So, but I would suggest doing it without the need for getting anything back. But you will always get whatever energy, good, positive, loving energy that you put out, you always get back. It might not be from the direct place that you're sending it to, but that's fine, because the universe is always fair in that way. You might not see where it's coming from. All right. Peace out. Hope you have a good day. I'll see you for day 14. Talk to you later. Bye.